So let's create our very first really simple Node.js application. Let's open it up with our favorite IDE. I'm going to close this project here. Close this project, and I'm going to open the brand new project we just created. Say open. We're going to go here in web dev 2020 4550, and there's our node. There we go. We'll say okay. We opened it, and let's create our very first executable. Now, for Node.js, what it intends to do is to execute JavaScript files, but on the desktop, right? So let's create a brand new JavaScript file. We'll say JavaScript, and we'll say hello.js. So in hello.js, you can type any JavaScript source code, right, that you could execute. For instance, we can say console.log and then have here hello world. Right, so we have that. If we go back to the command line, we'll see that we have our hello.js, and we can run it. We can run it using the node executable. So we say node and then hello.js. Notice that indeed we were able to execute a hello world. All right. Now, no big deal about this, right? So really, what's the point of being able to do this? So the point is that typically when you think about executing JavaScript, typically you think about it as being executed from the browser, right? A browser downloads JavaScript from some server and it executes it, and usually has access to a user interface implemented through DOM, where you can pop up some window or draw some buttons or forms or input fields that you can type into. So there's really cool stuff that you could do with JavaScript running on the browser, right? But there's also quite a bit of limitations, right? You don't have access to the file system. You don't have access to a database. You have limited access to the network. And any new data that you need, you have to go back to the server to fetch this data, right? And then come back and then render it. So there are some limitations. Now, whereas in Node.js running on from the command line, right, a lot of the limitations that you have on the browser, you don't have them here in Node.js, right? So you do have access to the file system. You have access to a database. You have unfettered access to the network. You can, there are no security restrictions that you typically would have on the browsers. You don't have them here when you run them here on the desktop. Obviously, you don't have access to a user interface, right? You don't have access to buttons or the DOM. There's no access to the mouse or keyboard. That's not the intent. So together, right, JavaScript running in the browser or JavaScript running in Node, right, they kind of complement each other very well, right? So it allows you to create a nice technology stack that allows you to do quite powerful things, right? And they share the same code base. Same language, same data representation, so they can easily exchange, JSON, formatted in a common data representation, which is pretty cool, right? And that's going to be our focus for the remainder of the semester.